To there it went. It's go. Oh, here it goes. Hey, everybody! Welcome to Each Roll Separate, Collect Them All, an action figure podcast with me. My name's Colonel Rains Carr, and that guy over there with no toys behind him and a white background with figures that are from the 1980s but aren't from the 1980s. That's your friend Brian Charles Rooney. How are you, Brian Charles
Hello.
Rooney?
I'm fantastic.
Where
How
the heck?
are you?
Where the heck? Hey, I'm doing good. I got toys. Look.
Of course you
Toys.
do.
I got toys. I
I
actually have toys in person with me because I'm not moving or doing whatever the heck
Oh
you're
my
doing.
God.
What is
Yes,
it that you're doing? What have you been doing since before Christmas? As I haven't seen you since before Christmas. What's going on?
Yes. We are moving home base to Nashville, Tennessee,
Oh.
where my partner's family is. I will still have to go back and forth to New York because I work here most of the time.
Yes, we forgot.
But everything is in storage. So currently I'm staying at my partner's cousin's apartment in the financial district Tribeca area. I brought with me my collection of Super 7 retro Masters of the Universe figures because I have to have something.
Well, duh. I always travel with action figures.
All of my new stuff is either delivered down to Nashville already or in storage. So theoretically, I could go to the local storage because we're not moving the storage stuff down until I'm done with the run of Matilda that I'm doing here. And that's at the end of March. So I won't have access to my stuff until we move everything down to Nashville. However, I will have a toy room.
Oh, you will have?
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Oh,
Are you
yes.
getting a place for the toy room?
Well, the amount of space that you can get in Nashville.
Oh, yeah, in Nashville compared to New York City, you bet.
I mean, and Nashville's booming, so they consider it expensive. Like the places we've looked at, they're like, oh, it's so expensive. And we're like, okay, no. Like there's this one place.
You could probably get a huge mansion,
yes,
house for $300,000 or something there.
And you can buy the mortgage that you pay if you buy. Is even
nothing.
cheaper.
Yeah, nothing compared to.
So that's exciting. So yeah, there are a couple places. They're going to see a place today that they just
nice.
He just happened to drive by, and it's a really great location, and it's really nice. And they have a whole finished basement with two full. Like there's a rec room and then there's an office. So
that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. So is the rec room the toy room, or is it going to be a rec room, or do you have another room that's going to be an actual toy room?
I don't know. I think the office.
Because let me tell you, it's nice toy room.
Mine's bigger.
It will be. This is a tiny little baby. This is the smallest toy room I ever had.
I don't know how big the rooms are because those things stretch. The listings always stretch everything.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool house. And there are other options. We almost got one house that had 3 levels it was a 4-bedroom house. The 4th bedroom was technically the lower level rec room. The garage was bigger than our apartment, and our apartment wasn't small. Like the garage is ridiculous. I was like, we can get coolers and go to Costco and have food here and not have to go shopping every day. Because in New York, you basically have to grocery shop every day. And then each bedroom had an office. So it was like,
wow.
Yeah, and it was less than half of what we were paying at the lead apartment.
Sure. Oh, I'm sure. But look at all that lead you got into your body that's going to kill you when you're 50. Isn't it great?
In fantasy, someone would have that happen, and then they would become one of the metal men, and they would have superpowers, and they'd be able to destroy the evil in this world. And I'm not going to segue into that because that's just dark and horrible.
But I've got something we can segue to if you'd like.
Yes, please. I don't want to talk about anything negative.
Besides sad, depressing, life-moving things, because that's always on lead. Speaking of metal men, I believe that's the DC Comics arena, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of DC Comics, there's been a whole bunch of DC Comics toys that have come out recently. And boy, I bet you're so excited that you don't have to buy toilet paper anymore because look at all the new crap
exactly
that you get to collect.
Well, first of all, they haven't shown up here at all, and if they have, they've been pulled off the shelves by scalpers who are probably going to sit on them forever because they're garbage.
You haven't seen them in person?
No.
They're even worse.
Only Only the short, the Infinite
Spin
Heroes
Masters ones?
ripoffs.
Oh my God, those are they're McDonald's toys with articulation.
They're bad.
I saw the entire wave, and people were like going nuts, and I was like, "You're joking, right?"
The rollout of characters is kind of nice, but if you look, there's like a 3-pack with Killer Croc, Batman, and Robin. Robin's head looks twice as big as Batman's head.
Yes.
He's taller than Batman. I'm like, come on, guys, it's 2020. This isn't 1999 or even 2003. Come on.
They're like embarrassingly bad.
No, it's terrible. And I knew this was going to happen with McFarlane. They were going to be weird, and they were going to look weird. And that Batgirl figure, which was something I was looking forward to, because that version of that character never came out from Mattel or DC Essentials, which I feel like works with Mattel's multiverse line fine. Like their Cheetah, I have their Wonder Woman. They blend pretty well. I'm getting the Nightfall Catwoman, which I'm super excited for. That's in my pile of loot on Big Bad Toy Store.
Very nice.
She's amazing looking. And I was hoping they'd be like that. But no, we have Batgirl with a neck that's about this long, like as long as my arm. It's ridiculous. Like you have to look at the pictures, and it's not super noticeable right away because she has hair.
I've seen them all in person. For some reason, Harley Quinn's the largest character in the DC universe. I don't know why. She's bigger. She's as big as Batman. They all look like
leftovers from other lines from other companies. They're like, let's put the Misfit Toys versions of DC Comics together in one fantastic line.
Yeah, the non-animated Batman's head is like so tiny. It's like this little teeny peanut on top of his body.
And Batman is probably the best looking of all. I mean, the bots are fun. The Super Bot and the Bat Bot, whatever they are, the armor.
Sure.
Those are cool. The laughing Batman is kind of nice looking. The Superman figure is pretty decent, but the Superman and the Batman have that weird torso articulation that just doesn't look good.
And the heads just don't look great. And why are we doing animated series figures when DC Collectibles already made the most incredible line of animated series figures?
With that weird arm turn thing that
what
makes
is happening?
It's very strange.
Why would you even look at if you want Batman animated series stuff and you're not getting the old vintage stuff? Why are you not buying the DC Collectible stuff that's been out for a few years? That's amazing. Like those figures are out of control. They're $20. They're amazing.
I think they're ending those, aren't they?
They are, but they made a ton of them. So if you're into that, there's a great bunch for you to collect. Why would you need a giant Harley Quinn to go next to your Batman, and her head's way bigger than his? I collected the vintage ones, and I watched the cartoon, okay? She's smaller than him, okay? She's smaller on purpose. Like, she's meant to be like a little, like, almost teenage, like, sidekick, tiny character.
Lithe and wafy and, which makes her being, strong, kind of awesome. That company isn't, they don't have a great track record. That line that they have now, for the video game,
Fortnite.
What's it called? Fortnite, yeah. Like blocking it out. Those figures
they take over my toy
looking.
aisle, so you have to notice them. The figures are very fun looking.
They're fun.
It's actually probably the most fun, interesting figures they've made in a really long time are those. I don't know anything about them or whatever, but they look like fun figures to play with.
They do. And they're cool characters. But those look like, and I was hoping that the DC stuff would look like that or be produced by the same factory. They're clearly not.
Yeah.
They're clearly made somewhere else cheaper.
They're very bland. When you see them in person, I can understand if you're a DC person, you would be excited about it for 5 minutes, but they're so bland.
I'm a DC person, and I'm excited to see them in person, just to see them, to check them out. I may buy one or two. I wanted that Batgirl, but I feel like if I buy her,
they might make more. As awful as that is.
I know, and that's the problem. I don't want them to have a license. I want it to be one and done. And she, even her knees, like it's like this antiquated garbage articulation.
No, the wrist,
like this, and then
the piece is the worst. The little extra rich wrist hinge is the worst crap. of all time. It's
the knee is the same way. It's like,
oh my god, it's terrible.
And all the proportions are off. Like her neck is. She looks like. I'm trying to think of where it's from, but it's like one of those characters that has like it might be from Star Wars. Those ladies that walk around with the giant heads. Like or giant necks. She's
the clone ladies. The clone.
Yeah. Yes. Like, what is this crap?
I'm sure there's a Star Wars nerd listening now going, they're called.
Like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm just. It's so disappointing.
And I'm sad you haven't seen them in person because they're even worse. But I know that you DC collectors like yourself, are used to giant turds in your collection, so I'm sure that you'll buy them all.
No,
and the Spin
I'm
Master
actually not.
toys you can buy.
No,
boy, those are. Whew.
No, I'm budgeting. I'm budgeting.
Like that's just people that I've seen so many people get so excited about those Spin Master figures. Like, did you find the Cyborg? And did you find that? I'm like, you were just there's just nothing out.
I have friends who are super into them. I'm glad that they are.
These are people that collect McDonald's toys. Like what?
I can understand. Yeah, but I can understand the appeal of those because of the simplicity, like the fact that they are. Because I keep pulling these up, but they are appealing to me because they're simple.
Yeah, but that figure's a million times better looking. Now it's super basic.
Yeah, it's really actually.
But it has nostalgia. But it has nostalgia factor.
It's actually nicer looking than the original figure.
And I've got a lot of nostalgia for DC characters from Super Friends, so maybe some freaking Super Friends figures then.
Yeah, why didn't they start with that?
You know?
Like, that's another issue. Every DC effort has started poorly.
Yes.
Like the original Mattel, the first wave was a weird wave of characters, and it was kind of like, like they were good figures, but they were.
You did use the word Mattel, so that automatically makes me think that.
But then switching from when DC did their Icons line, I was like, okay, well they're just going to continue in the same scale like Essentials became. It'll be fine. No. They're an inch shorter, and they don't match at all. So, F you, and here's a good idea. Let's have everyone start over. Here's Flash and Blue Batman and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I'm sorry. We're not paying $27 in New York City for a DC Icon figure.
Nope.
Not happening. And then Essentials started, and that was better because those, in my opinion, are the best looking.
Yes, lipstick on a pig is what I call that.
Most fun. They're better than that. Most fun, best looking.
Here, let me grab one off my shelf and we'll try. Oh wait, I don't have any because they're so terrible.
No, they're not terrible. The cheetah is really nice. The Wonder Woman's nice. The Supergirl's nice. Batman's nice.
Yes,
and this
nice
Catwoman
for
is really
figures
nice.
in 2005.
Well, yeah, that's true.
To you and all the people that complain about the Toy Biz, Marvel Legends, those are so terrible.
Well,
those are better than those Mattel figures. So sorry to say.
Oh no, Mattel.
You kidding me?
I don't agree. I think that the Mattel multiverse figures. I'm not talking about I'm talking about DC Collectibles Essentials, but the newer when they stopped Icons and started and increased the size, so they actually match.
And everybody, wake up! We're talking about DC figures. Wake up! Everybody, wake up! Are you awake? Okay, we'll back to the podcast. Continue.
But the Mattel multiverse figures, I think, are, when you look at them next to a Marvel Legend, they tend to hide the articulation better.
Certainly, but they're just not as fun. They're just not as fun. They're not as fun to play with. Not as fun to pose. They're very vanilla.
No, they're not as fun to pose. They're actually
soft. They all look very
more
soft.
difficult to pose.
They're all very soft. They're all very vanilla. I mean, I don't begrudge anyone wanting to collect those. And when you see a collection of them like yours, where there's hundreds of them on a shelf in 6-inch scale, it looks awesome because you have all those characters that you like.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I'm actually looking forward to.
Individually, they're not interesting to me, but when I do see someone's full collection of them, I go, oh, well, that's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, a good example of that is Katana from Multiverse, the recent one. She looks good in a posed situation with other figures, but alone, she's kind of like...
It's kind of rough, right? Like, I got this new figure. I got a new figure. Those of you listening on your podcast won't see it, but those of you watching the video on YouTube can see it. It's Squirrel Girl. Okay, here she is. She's old Squirrel Girl. Now,
She's
I don't know
awesome.
anything about Squirrel Girl. I could have cared less about Squirrel Girl until I saw her in person.
Right, and it's
And
a
I was
super
like,
fun, yeah.
this is a fun, I mean, it's one of the best paint jobs on a comic figure face I've ever seen.
You
It's a
have to put your
fun,
hand behind it.
it's a fun, interesting figure, right? Here's her two big tail. She's a
Amazing.
fun, interesting figure that just flew off the shelf to me. Like, she just
Right.
jumped off the shelf by herself. Like, I could put her on her own shelf and she'd look great.
Yeah.
I don't see
They
those
did a great job.
figures doing that very
No,
often. Like, it would be
no,
one in a million where I would stop in the toy aisle and go, oh, well, that's not too, I mean, that's just like a little rabbit turd.
Well,
It's not like
no,
a big giant one.
The other
It's
thing
not
about
bad.
that Squirrel Girl figure is that the packaging is incredible. That scooter, the scooter she comes with is beautiful. It's all done in colors that pop off the shelf
Right.
anyway. So a lot of the work is done for you. But she's also unusual, and that's nice, especially for a female character.
Even somebody who's bland, like in the latest wave here, Shang-Chi, right? Who's kind of a bland karate Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I got him too. I like him a lot.
He's amazing.
Yeah. The packaging, all of those accessories. I mean, it comes with more accessories than any other figure.
Even just a basic. I mean, we've seen this body a million times, but just the fact that they gave us his little karate pants legs, and he just looks so amazing. He's just amazing.
Yeah, that's a great example of simplicity done real well.
I mean, just like wow.
Yeah.
Like this. How is Hasbro
She-Hulk?
knocking these
She-Hulk
out of the
is the same way. I ordered mine and she's sitting in a box in Nashville waiting for me. But I saw her in the store the other day and I was like, oh my god, she looks incredible. Like it just substantial figure, which was a nice surprise because I didn't realize that it was
huge.
a new buck, and that made me very happy. But the face is incredible. The paint shading is incredible.
Oh no, she's
so
really
cool.
really nice. She's really nice. Well, tell me this then. Tell me this, since I haven't seen. We haven't talked since before Christmas time. What'd you get for Christmas? What fun? Well, toys for yourself, of course. Who cares what else you got for Christmas? But what toys have you gotten that have made their way either into your Nashville home, or into your New York storage unit, or into your hands, like the Evil Lyn you were just holding in your hand? Like, what has made it into your hands in the last? Because it's almost been a month and a half since we talked, so there better be new toys in your life.
Evil Lyn was pre-Christmas. Doctor Doom, She-Hulk, Vulture.
From the Marvel Legends,
Marvel Legends, Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Who else?
Those are also all at my house.
White Rabbit.
Great figure.
And an extra White Rabbit to further complete my Frankenstein Emma Frost, which was really fun.
The only way you're getting one.
Yeah, I know. I bought a new thing of Milliput, which is the best material to use for sculpting and painting, because you sculpt, you put it on, it sticks. You can use water to shape it, and then it takes paint really well. So I sand dremeled off the watch. I filled in the gaps and built an approximation of a certain of a sort of corset. I have pictures. I'll post them on Instagram because I don't have her. She's in the storage right now. I'm not happy with even though I have that cape I made is nice, I want a bigger cape. And a friend of mine said, why don't you flock the fur? It's like, that's a great idea.
Ooh,
so
cool idea.
I need to find a cape that I can put that fur top on.
Well, I'll be happy with it. I sent, and I posted on our Instagram, I went to Second and Charles, that secondhand store, and they had the old Toys R Us exclusive clear Emma Frost, or whatever the heck that one's called, that horrible figure. But the cape's pretty cool, so if you want it, I'll pick you up. It's $12.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I mean, it's an option, so
it's a decent cape. I know people are using the Director Krennic cape from the Star Wars Black from Rogue One.
Yeah, a friend of mine has that on her.
I don't think that one's right.
I don't either. It's nice.
I really like the ones I've seen with the cape from the original Hasbro figure, like that Toys R Us one, is actually pretty good. Right. I like that cape.
I mean, ideally, I want the White Queen version, and I want the Astonishing X-Men, which is the current version, basically the current version. Well, she has two, kind of. She has the House of X, like the cape like that from Toys R Us, and then like slightly modernized version of her Astonishing X-Men outfit, and then she has the suit jacket thing.
Yeah.
So I think we will get one of those, and I have a feeling she's probably going to be, I don't think she's a Toy Fair reveal, but she'll probably be a Comic-Con reveal.
You know what? What's funny is I'm perfectly satisfied with not having my Walgreens / Drew Paul's drag race Emma Frost figure.
She really does.
That I still see languishing and collecting dust on the shelves everywhere.
Oh, I never see her. She was gone here.
Well,
even the third, there were 2 refreshes of that figure too, and
people bought that. That's I pity. I'm sad.
I mean, I think solely for the heads, but
Well, sure, that one head. It's one of the greatest heads they've ever sculpted. But
the legs are great. I think the legs are great and the heels are great, but I just hate that they're black. Like No,
I can't stand it. Every time
totally
I see that
racist.
figure, I just wanna. Whoa.
Oh, that reminds me. I did find, not for myself, but which I'm starting to regret, but I found the cuckoos for Ricky.
Oh,
my
you
friend
found
Ricky.
them?
Yeah.
They haven't hit here yet.
All over. They have been all over.
Really?
The first shipment.
Well, hopefully Ricky can put all of those cuckoos in front of that crappy Emma Frost, so we don't have to see her on his shelf display.
They look cool. The heads are neat.
They do look cool. I want them.
Spears,
I just haven't seen them. That's fine with me.
I was kind of hoping which wouldn't have made sense because they had to be younger. They're on the younger girl body. But I was kind of hoping that they would sneak in the corseted body underneath the outfit, so you could rip the skirt off and then customize. But no. So anyway, the White Rabbit, I took the top of Typhoid Mary and put it on the White Rabbit lower corset because the skin tone matched the upper part of Typhoid Mary's body matched the bob haircut. Emma Frost head better than the White Rabbit one. And then I used the dagger legs, calves and lower legs, black cat heels, and then the existing White Rabbit flesh tone hip pieces, whatever. Yeah. And then I kept the dagger hands because I kind of liked them. Like I was gonna use the white hands from the Hasbro Build-A-Figure with Rocket Raccoon. That terrible white, also terrible, but better than the Toys R Us exclusive version, Emma Frost. But they're large. Like her one hand is like.
Yeah, that's a huge.
This is a figure. Hand. She's like, here's my hand.
Ridiculous, so huge.
Yeah, so I just kept the dagger hands on because they're nice. They have like little white things that have like a ring around the finger, and it looks nice. Yeah, I feel like if I didn't like Emma Frost, we'd have 10 versions of her. So maybe I should start conditioning myself to hate her. That's
I'm glad that your custom Emma Frost has only cost you $80 at this point.
Well, I mean, there are pieces I had. So
it means you don't have a Typhoid Mary if you took her dang torso.
No, I have another one. I got her in a
that's
trade.
An extra. No, that's an extra $20.
I got her in a trade though. She was basically free. She was kind of thrown in. And Dagger, I'm sure I could find some, an extra from somebody. I'm not in a hurry to find her. I'm trying to think of what else I got. The He-Man movie figures. That was a gift from a friend.
Oh, nice.
They're the most incredible. First of all, Super 7 has reached, of course, at the end, reaches the a level of excellence. They are better than Mattel's versions of Masters Classics even at their best.
Wow.
Like, to me, some of the best Masters Classics figures, production-wise, were Vicor, the first Zodak, Mara, there are a few others that were just, the quality was really excellent. There were no issues. The paint was great. Nothing fell apart. No torsos cracked, etc., etc. These figures are better than, if you took a picture of, especially the God Skeletor one, or the face, it's creepy. Like, it looks like him alive. Like somebody shrunk him down.
That's awesome.
And covered him in paint. Like, it's amazing. I was shocked because I expected something close to the prototype.
Sure.
And I expected the limbs to have the ratchets that are really hard. They have the ratchets, but they're smoother now.
Interesting.
So it's really amazing, and the accessories are all pretty great. The only thing that was a slight problem was that He-Man comes with a small power sword, like a mini power sword dagger, because it's from the movie design, and then a small foot dagger that he put in his boot, and those I think shrunk in production, so they don't fit in his hand, and they don't. The dagger from his boot doesn't actually stay in his boot. It's like, this is the thing that's gonna get lost. So I taped it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the box with him. I'm like, this is not getting lost. It's taped inside the bag, and it's just a bag, and it's in the accessory bin, and it's not getting lost, because I'm going to have to figure out a way to fill in that slot on the boot so that it stays.
Interesting. I'm sure somebody will do a custom one. One of your Motu friends will do
probably,
a custom one in some fashion. Well, you need to tell your friend Brian Flynn how great they are sometime. We need to have them on again. So tell them how much you like them.
Well, and we can talk about Turtles, because that's
that new reveals last week.
Not just the new reveals, but the production samples. Yeah. Have you seen their pictures of those?
Yes.
I'm like, because I wasn't sure. I was like, the paint, is it going to be good plastic? But after the these movie figures, I'm like, oh no, the plastic's amazing. It's just as good as Mattel, or slightly better, actually. Which is amazing, because Mattel has their plastic formula patented, so they don't share it.
Right.
And they wouldn't give it to Super 7. They gave them an approximation with the Masters of the Universe Ultimates first wave, but then, which actually was a really nice plastic, but clearly that changed. But if these Turtles and the forthcoming Thundercats are made like the He-Man movie figures, that they're going to be super amazing.
Literally super.
Yes.
Yes.
Super 7 amazing.
Oh, hey, look at that. No, they do look. Those turtles look beautiful. The showing me more Thundercats was pretty exciting. Though Tigra looked a little weird to me. His torso looked a little weird.
They repainted him in correct colors because Joe Amaro, who has sculpted things for different lines that we know of and who's been peripherally involved, wrote to the Horsemen and were like, this is not correct. And then they changed it and they made it more aqua as opposed to blue, which looked a lot better.
Yeah. Speaking of Joe Amaro, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, Joe Amaro also makes custom figures. I know that you have some. He makes your Bear Bills for your Thundercats that you have. That'll go great with your new ones. Burbles. Sorry, I never say that thing right. But he's also making a really nice custom Baby Yoda right now that's looking pretty sweet. It's not for sale yet.
It's expensive, too.
I'm scared to know how much he wants for it.
It's a lot. Well, it comes with the carriage. I think it's about $130. Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's the cool. I have some custom Baby Yodas that I bought for $15 that are pretty great. But this one, his actually has articulation, and it's pretty neat. I mean, it's pretty. It comes with the carriage. It's pretty
exquisite. Neat. He's also a great person, which makes it celebrating what he does even more fun. But I don't know if that's correct. I mean, the price may change. I don't know, but it's a lot of work.
It's beautiful, and it's a lot of work. And I mean, he's going to sell 1 million of them. The guy that made the $15 Baby Yodas made like $15,000 off his. He sold like 1,000 of them. Made $15,000 off of 3D printing Baby Yodas and painting them. Made like $15,000. This is like a thing that people are doing. If you take a look at it, people are making custom.
I mean, that's just a joke, right? Hasbro doesn't know anything about that.
No. But they make 3D printed novelty heads for characters. Like there's a guy that did a really nice cartoon Beast head recently.
Yeah.
That I'm sure you saw that was all over the place. He made like $50,000 off that.
What?
Okay. If you count up all his orders / how much they cost, it's $50,000. I'm like,
You
why
know what's
am I
really
not getting into
interesting
3D
about that?
sculpting, 3D printing?
Yeah,
Because I'd make a lot more
exactly.
money.
You know what's really interesting is that gives you a good idea of how large the market is for for these figures and how much these companies are actually potentially making. Because you think about how many people, I would say it's like 1 in 3 orders those things, maybe 1 in 4. So of people that know about them, and then there's all the
people know
people
about
that
it. That's the thing.
don't
Some
know
people
about it
don't
at
have
all.
any clue. I know tons of collectors that I was like, oh yeah, did you get your custom Baby Yodas yet? What are you talking about, custom Baby Yodas? I'm like,
no, they
they're
don't
all
know.
over the place. They're all over the place. Like, well, just look for them. They're all over
No,
the place.
I mean, I wouldn't have known about that on Facebook necessarily unless a friend had, like, I found out about them from you.
Right.
And then I went seeking them and found out that, found out they were made by this guy on Instagram. I ended up buying 2 of them as a Secret Santa gift for a friend.
Oh, you did?
Awesome. Yeah, no, it was like the perfect thing to buy. That's one of the ones I bought. It's amazing.
$15.
It's amazing. And the cup comes out.
And the cup comes out, and it's a beautiful sculpt.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful little 3D sculpt, and here's the other one. I got this one too. Those of you on the radio that can't hear this, it's Baby Yoda holding his little soup cup, and then Baby Yoda in his little pod.
His little pram.
His little whatever, his little baby carriage or whatever that he floats around with. So speaking of, no, go ahead.
Well, that Mandalorian show, my son and I watched the first episode, and he's 4, so he's smart. He gets things. I have a window open. This has a view of Freedom Tower for those who are watching.
Oh yeah.
But apparently we're getting hit with a storm. So
we got it here in Florida last night. So you're getting it.
Window.
Oh, there you go. Smart thinking.
Yeah, that's a little scary because it sounds like witches and banshees outside.
That's what ours was last night. It was like we have all these trees in the yard, and they were all, branches were falling off, hitting the tin roof, and we were like, ah! All night.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Terrified.
So we watched the first episode, and I think the second one, and it was just slow, and I was distracted and stressed, and I just didn't finish. And then when I came back after Christmas and I was alone because they stayed in Nashville to set up and start working. He started working and Christian had to start school there. I just watched the whole thing, and it's so good. I loved it. It's one of the best Star Wars things for me.
Yes. Me too.
I've ever experienced. I just think it's really well acted. Well, and my friend Emily is the armor lady.
Oh, really?
Yes, awesome. I did a show with her. We did a musical about Andy Warhol, and she's one of the nicest people I've ever worked with. She's incredibly talented, very smart.
Well, you will have an action figure of her soon, because I imagine we will see it at Toy Fair.
I bothered her about when that was announced like a year ago or whatever it was. I said, I'm gonna have an action figure of you, and then she sent me a picture of the Funko Pop of her. She's like, look, and I said, that's not an action figure. Stop.
How dare you?
How very dare you?
You've hugged Baby Yoda, but how dare you?
Right. Yeah, she's incredible. So
Did she do the stunts and everything? She did all the stunts, like the fighting stunts?
I didn't ask her that, actually. I wouldn't be surprised because... It
wasn't super complicated, but it was just cool,
No, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know, because I know it's cheaper. Isn't it cheaper to get 2 people, like to get her as a voiceover actress?
She probably did that, because The Mandalorian, if people don't know this, the person in the suit is not the guy that plays, it's not the voice. It's actually 2 stuntmen or stand-ins that are playing. People are like, his acting is so great, the way he moves his head. That's actually 2 stand-in stuntmen who are like 50th in the credits on the show.
That's
and
lame.
He's just in that one moment where they reveal his face, and that's it. And then he just did the voiceover because they shot it without knowing who they were casting.
Right. I would guess that she's not.
She's probably just voice.
Yeah. I mean, because she does voice acting. She's in Castlevania on Netflix as well.
Which I really enjoyed. Our friend Ted is a fan of that, and he works there and works on that show. I actually really like that show.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, but it's Castlevania.
It's good.
I have no problem with that.
It's very interesting. It's timely, and I would watch that if I were you, listeners.
Yeah, it's a fun, interesting. I actually really enjoyed it myself. So speaking of Baby Yoda, because that's the most important thing to talk about, as always. I don't know
Where's
if
that cartoon?
you saw, or anybody else saw. I'm sure you did. If you're a toy collector and you didn't see it, you're a weirdo. That Sideshow Collectibles is coming out with a really nice Baby Yoda statue, replica of the actual size replica of Baby Yoda himself, and they showed pictures of it this past week.
I think I saw that yesterday. An ad, a Facebook ad with that.
And it's really beautiful. It's $350. You can do $50 a month, but it's an actual scale replica, and it has like real
for something
hair,
that doesn't move.
It's like
see.
A premium format. It's like
a
premium format type figure, where it has like cloth elements and things, and hair and all that. So it's really beautiful. It's not a piece of plastic.
Then actually, that's not a bad price considering.
No, the price is nothing. I was like, they're gonna sell 1 million of these. They're gonna sell 1 million of them. They're gonna make so much money off that. So smart. But the Build-A-Bear comes out next month, so I'll be at Build-A-Bear holding my Build-A-Baby Yoda.
Serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea.
Because right now I'm walking around without a Baby Yoda every day, and it's not good. He should be in my backpack every day, and I should be walking around with him. And he's not. And I should be taking him to class with me, but there is no Baby Yoda anywhere, and it's kind of sad. But speaking of Baby Yoda, I feel like in about 2 weeks, we're going to get ourselves a glut of Baby Yoda products at this thing called New York Toy Fair.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
What are you looking forward to hopefully seeing at New York Fair? This is actually what I wanted to talk to you about today was, what do you think? What are your predictions? What are you thinking about? What have you heard rumors of, perhaps, that we might be seeing at New York Fair Fair of things we haven't already been revealed?
I would like to see I had heard a rumor of a Captain Power kind of relaunch. I know, obscure,
but okay.
But I'm slightly excited about that because Captain Power took the place of He-Man for me.
And the old line is really fun, and I don't know if we need another one because the old line's pretty great.
No, I think 6-inch, like Ultimates style.
I don't think $45 Captain. I don't know if I need that.
I do.
Or anyone does.
I do.
Okay.
I don't know that that's happening. I just know that it was.
It doesn't sound like a big seller to me.
A discussion.
It's a hard sell.
Apparently not, because I keep getting emails every day. Buy this Thundercats statue. Buy this Thundercats clothing. Buy this Thunder. I'm like, guys, no one buys Thundercats apparently. So why? What? Maybe that's just because of lack of marketing. What would I like to see? Another wave of Pee Wee Herman reaction figures. That has to happen.
I'm really hoping that happens too. And maybe like a cardboard playset.
Yes, as many possible things as they can make for that. I'd like to see the scooter and the Pee Wee with the helmet on his head. Like, that would be fun as an homage to the Matchbox release. I'd like to see Clue reaction figures.
You and your Clue reaction.
I know that's not going to happen, but I just really would like to see that happen.
Just make some curry and I'll be happy. It'll be all right.
I would like to see. I don't know if they're going to do a Turtles reveal. Maybe, because that's interesting that they just revealed. They didn't wait for.
But maybe there'll be one figure or something. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's one thing they haven't revealed.
Or like the wagon or something.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Maybe it could be that. Yeah.
Oh, that would be nice. The wagon would be
amazing. Or maybe
they'll
reveal the Technodrome and you got to buy that playset for $1 million like the Snake Mountain.
Oh my god! I didn't have the Technodrome as a child, so I may have to buy that.
Oh, it's a great playset.
And sell a kidney.
It's way better than any of the other ones.
I think we'll see a lot of Origins stuff. I think the Origins line is hitting earlier than expected. May is apparently the rumor I'm hearing in selected places, not everywhere. I still cannot find out if it's Walmart only or Target only. The rumor was that it was Walmart only, which will anger me, and it will be impossible to get.
Origins of what?
Masters,
what are you talking
Masters
about?
of the Universe Origins, the 5.5 inch.
Masters of the Universe Origins. What's funny about those is I was at Walmart the other day. Not because I was shopping there. I was just looking for action figures, but of course they didn't have any.
No, they never do.
I was actually looking to see if that Captain Marvel movie, whatever one, was on sale for $5 yet.
Right.
So I could steal some pieces from it, her hands and stuff. But they had those wrestling, whatever those weird wrestling.
Yeah, Masters of the
Universe,
WW
whatever,
Universe.
whatever that nonsense, whatever
It's
that.
a mess.
Who was
it's
like, let's make those. I don't understand, but they're using the bodies of those Masters Classics. It's the Masters Classics bodies. So I'm like, why do I have these and not my He-Man figure?
Exactly.
What is happening?
You can tell.
You were supposed to get me. He is showing off the Prince Adam from the SDCC Masters Origins, and you were supposed to get me one of those. And with all your Masters of the Universe connections,
I'm still trying.
One of those.
I'm still trying. It may not come in the
That's
box.
not $1 million. I don't care about. What do I need a box for?
The box is amazing.
Look behind me. Are there boxes behind me?
No, but the box of that set is amazing.
I could care less. All those SDCC boxes that are great, I threw them all away. I don't care.
Anyway, we've seen a reveal that PowerCon is selling exclusives for the con as usual. Of course, the powers that be at Mattel are saying no classics, which is kind of stupid for a fan convention when every exclusive is going to sell. Like if they had a Masters Classics exclusive and an Origins and a doll, the He-Man that was shown to match.
Everybody that goes that thing buys the figures, right?
Exactly, they would sell.
Every single one.
I don't understand why they. I do understand why Ruben, whatever his last name is right now, does not right now as though it changes.
His name changed.
I mean, right now he's like
some days he has a mask on like this. Some days he doesn't.
Some days
and that's okay.
He's kind of the co-brand manager, associate brand manager, and he doesn't like classics. I mean, he said as much. So, their kind of scorched earth desert policy with regard to keeping Super 7 from doing them, and now PowerCon from doing them is really annoying because the rumor that there were two exclusives listed. One was $45. And one is $200. I know what one of them is for sure. I can't say it yet.
What can't you say?
I can't spoil it because I'm working for PowerCon. Like I'm doing 3 panels this year, and I'm not going to ruin them. The $200 one is the mystery. So the thought was initially, some of us talking in the community were like, that would be an amazing multi-pack, like if they did Alcala repaints of Tila with like blonde hair, Man at Arms with a cape, or the furry kind of the fur around the shoulders, no mustache, that kind of thing. Maybe a different helmet. Ular, the Jungle He-Man with the spear, because the spear for the Jungle He-Man from the first mini comic is tooled, and it's in one of the wrestling figures packs. So that's
really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So that's coming with somebody, and it's not coming with He-Man because in the single packed He-Man, and it didn't come in the Comic-Con He-Man pack this past year, so it's coming with somebody.
Interesting.
You could get the Goddess, which is just a repaint of Tila.
Right.
They could make her better than that, but they could, just repaint her. They could do Red Beastman, Blue Merman.
Oh yeah, you could have all kinds of fun with those. I don't know why they have an aversion to this kind of thing.
Mini comic Trapjaw, mini comic Triclops. Eventually, I'll call a Skeletor, but then the rumor is that Skeletor is probably the 2-pack for Comic-Con next year, which would make total sense. He's the most popular character. He's a great launching item for a brand, which, it'll launch earlier, but that's going to be the official kind of big launch, I think, of Origins.
Now I got to get another dang Comic-Con pack? Oh, my God.
Yeah, don't miss that one this time. And then, there are many other options for that kind of pack, but if the $45 item if it's a 2-pack, that would mean that the $200 item would have to be at least 8 figures. Now, at Grayskull Con, not Grayskull Con, there was a German toy fair that just happened.
Okay.
They teased a picture. They'd had some info about Masters of the Universe Origins because Germany is a huge source of Masters of the Universe fans and customers. Oh, yeah. So they teased info. There was apparently a leak of what's coming. We don't think it's real because it's like 6 waves and they're broken up weirdly. Like the second wave said Evelyn, Teela, and Orko, which is a little strange and kind of derivative of the 2000X release schedule, which was Teela and Orko.
But no one remembers.
Right. Well, somebody does because they're basically Mattel has already revealed Orko and Scareglow in posts on Instagram, so people could easily kind of just based on what has been tooled already for the WWE Origins line, which are accessories for characters like Many-Faces, Clawful, Fisto, among others, Stratos. It's easy to kind of figure out what's ready to go. Whoever did this list made it, 6 waves. Then they were saying, there are 2 packs coming as shop exclusive, which people think must be MattelShop.com. One of them being Teela and Man-at-Arms in Alcala style. So Teela was blonde. She comes with her mini comic shield and spear. Man-at-Arms comes with a cape like he had in the mini comic.
Yeah.
The other one is Red Beastman and Blue Merman. Some of the vehicles that were teased were the Battle Ram, the Wind Raider, Battle Cat, Panther.
Yeah, I want all that.
The standard stuff.
I want all that.
And then rumored was the Skeletor 2-pack for Comic-Con next year. But I don't know if any of that's real. I mean, that's easy to say. Like, they're all logical choices.
Am I getting Castle Grayskull or what?
That was something that in this info they said it's.
If I don't get Castle Grayskull, I'm not collecting any of them.
It's under consideration, and they would use the Masters Classics version, and it would come with less accessories. And I was like, what do you mean less accessories? And if that's something coming from Ruben, that means that Ruben's looking at the old planogram for Castle Grayskull from the Classics line, which included the Spirit of Grayskull attachment, ghost thing that was supposed to sit on the tower. Would
they actually make it in the right size and not the scaled down size that ended up happening, or they would just be a replica of what the tooling
for the Origins line, it actually works. Like the scale actually
do they fit
would
better?
Be correct.
Well, you have it, so it does fit better with those.
Yeah. The original planogram had all of like the Alcala style stuff, like the candle, the torture rack, it was supposed to come with the top of Point Dread,
We're getting to the Masters weeds here. We're getting to the Masters weeds here. So tell me this:
but then it didn't come with anything except like the ladder and like the pugilist thing.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
What do you think a price point's going to be? Because the figures are what, $14.99.
Yeah, I mean for a cheaper made. I'm assuming cheaper plastic
version, not as paint. The paint isn't as nice, maybe.
Yeah, and I don't know what they'll do with the floor because it's raised and has those pieces that kind of snap together. And one of them has that divot, that
$120
socket. That's a lot.
It is a lot. So you're asking for $14.99 a figure, and you're asking for $100 something for the. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I look at doll lines and they have expensive play sets, but that's like Barbie and
But Frozen, I mean that castle, that giant 100-foot castle that they made is pretty amazing.
Yes.
It's on clearance at my Target right now, but it's amazing.
Right. I mean, and that's the other thing, like who's buying this line? Like
not kids.
I get why they want classics gone because they want all of us to be starving for something, and it's like
of course.
It's not going to work. There's so much backlash right now in the community.
This type of line, this type of line, the Origins line, is going to bring me back to Masters of the Universe.
Right.
People like me that are like, oh, that's what I always wanted was the original figures, but better.
Yes, but it's not going to. It's not going to make Mattel billions of dollars. And there's a certain person. There's definitely a certain person at Mattel who I was told from someone else at Mattel is under the impression that it's going to save there's a reminder for me. Save Mattel, and I'm like, dude, come on.
I
Kids don't even play with toys anymore. They play video games and they're on their phones.
And they don't know who He-Man is.
No,
and they're giving a bunch of, and I know they're putting a lot of money into animated series and and doing all those things, but
right.
Those things.
But the animated series for kids is the modern version. It's not going to be necessarily based on the red burst packaging that we had and the blonde, Aryan He-Man. It's going to be something different, likely. ...
Is the Gold's Gem icon He-Man is what I like to call that one.
Right. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
I am as progressive as probably, well, maybe not as progressive as you can get, but most progressive person, most progressive person, I have zero problem with a blonde white He-Man. I'm sorry, I don't have a problem. Demonizing somebody for being a blonde white hero is not a bad thing. There is room for everyone. Like, it is fine. So that's our comment from the two
He-Man's
white guys.
Friends are very diverse.
Well, there's a skeleton and there's a yellow lady.
His friends?
That's true. All the bad guys are the people of color.
Oh, oops.
Right. Well, there's Clamp Champ. They finally threw one in at the end. I know.
Says two 40-plus-year-old white men on a toy podcast.
I'm being super sarcastic. Obviously, they needed.
I know you are.
I mean, it is a diverse line in a lot of ways, but it needed to be more diverse.
Boy, I would kill for them to have the Sunman license and put that stuff in there. Like, that's what Super 7 needs to do next.
Super 7 should do Sunman. That would be a cool.
That, I think, would be a big
use. Yeah, and use the Masters bucks for that. That's a good segue into my point. There was a tease of Fuerza T.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There was a tease of Fuerza T villains in the background on this image shown of Origins, so that it was like, well, why are they there? And there had been a rumor last year that PowerCon might do a Fuerza T Classics collection.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Fuerza T is T-Force in
and neither does anyone else.
In Spanish. No, there are people that know. There are a lot of people that know. It was a huge. It was a really well produced for bootleg. It made in Latin America, and it used parts there. If you go on eBay, you can look them up. Fuerza, Fuerza.
I'm joking. I've seen them before.
Others may not. I know you know how to spell the Spanish, but not everybody does.
I'm a nerd. I do know what you're talking about.
So they used pieces from, like, Platino is the lead, and he has a He-Man head with a sculpted on goatee, which is really great, and the hair is green and the goatee is green, and then he uses recolored Fisto / Clamp Champ armor. He has Fisto's fist. He has black pants. It's that type of thing. Felinor is the bad guy. It's like a cat version of Merman. There are other.
Hey, they can put those in them. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
put those in Origins. Why not?
So then I'm wondering if that's what the $200 thing is.
Or who knows? I mean, it could be anything like that.
There was also talk of a Princess of Power item because it's the Princess of Power toy line 35th anniversary, I believe.
Well, I can't imagine in that Origins line they can't give me a Princess of Power. I would be very sad.
Well, I mean, they should put all of them in it. It's
like, why wouldn't they be in there?
It's a unified, story.
At least give me like 10 characters from that from Princess of Power.
Of course, Mattel has there's still the school of thought at Mattel that's for girls, and girls like hairbrushes and makeup and putting clothes on. That's like, yeah, you know what?
I like hair and makeup and brushing dolls' hair too, but I also like action figures and things,
Right. Like, I would like to have, speaking of, just diversity of visual appeal, like, it's nice having more female characters in any line.
Sure, of course.
I know that a lot of people who collect figures as avatars of themselves, especially men, don't necessarily buy into that school of thought.
That's weird to me, but yes.
Well, there's two kind of collectors. My friend Mary, and we've talked about this. There's the avatar collector, and there's the world builder. And I much prefer being a world builder.
Of course. The diversity of a line, much like the country we live in, is a much more interesting place to be. Because all I'm doing is looking at, it's like the day when I was 5 years old and they took me to get my Xavier Roberts doll, and they showed me all the white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired dolls. And I was like, don't think I want that one. I see that guy every day. How about I get the one that's totally different from me, because diversity is interesting.
You homosexual!
Whoa.
Sorry,
oh, jeez.
I'm going there.
Man, how could you?
How could I? That's disgusting.
How dare you? This is from the guy that's moving to Nashville. But anyways, is moving to Tennessee.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move to Nashville. I'm going to run as a Republican, and I'm going to infiltrate, and I'm going to change everything.
No, we call that guy Pete Buttigieg. But the Republicans running as Democrats. But
that's another story.
That's another story. But so tell me this.
I'll take it. I'll take that Republican. Here. That's fine. I'll take Newt Gingrich at this point.
Actually. But the Ken Starr Newt Gingrich 2020. Let's go. What other besides Masters of the Universe, or what other line are you interested in seeing figures from? Super 7, you already mentioned Super 7, Mattel. What other, anything else you're interested in?
Well, obviously Marvel Legends, because I need, more X-Men.
What can they give us that they haven't given us? What exciting, like the 80th anniversary stuff, what can they give us this year that they haven't given us? What beautiful thing do you, besides a great Emma Frost, what do we need?
First release Storm.
We haven't got it. But that's coming.
Storm.
Yeah,
and they've already said basically that it is. So is this like a quiz?
But besides that, what is it that we need? Because they redid us a Hulk, that's perfect. They did a Captain America, that's good enough. They gave us an Iron Man, that's great. Like, we got a great Thor. Like,
Well, there's still a whole bunch of X characters missing. There's like...
what great X character is missing?
Richter.
I said great.
I like Richter.
Say random. What?
Lilandra. Do we just have a head? We don't have the body.
Yeah, she's a character.
Hooded Psylocke. I need that. Pyro, the Blob. We need a re-release of that Blob figure.
Re-release the Blob. Like, why are we re-releasing Venom? Not releasing that Blob figure. Killing me, dude.
They probably don't have the tooling anymore or something.
Killing me, dude. Well, then make a new one that's better.
Yeah. A Brotherhood pack would be nice with
I'm
Avalanche.
really hoping for Pyro and Blob this year. Like, please give me Pyro and Blob this year.
Toad.
Toad this year would be great.
Callisto would be great.
You and your Callisto.
Lady Deathstrike.
Lady Deathstrike. I knew Lady Deathstrike would be nice.
Spiral.
The old Hasbro Spiral is actually not a bad figure
yes,
for the
but no one has her. That's
because nobody bought them. They were all on clearance, and now they're just gone forever.
And now they're like $300.
Because I remember seeing it 100 times and never bought it because I was like, who wants these new Hasbro pieces of junk?
What's her face from Spider-Man? Firestar.
Sorry,
I mean, they need to do it as a 3-pack. Or, what would be really cool is if they gave us a ride of Iceman with his giant ice thing and Firestar in there. Like burning it, trying to burn it down or whatever. And then they can throw Spider-Man in there too.
I really love. Yeah, give us a nice, that classic-y colored-looking Spider-Man, that 70s colored-looking Spider-Man would be really neat.
We sort of have that from that retro packaging version, which is my favorite Spider-Man. Yeah. But that would be a cool packaging opportunity, first of all, and it would also give us something really cool as an accessory. We also need a classic kind of retro Doctor Strange.
That is something we do need. Is a really nice classic Doctor Strange.
I can't imagine that's not planned.
They have bodies. They already have the cape because it came with the black outfit one. That's a great cape.
Yeah.
I've got it on my old Toy Biz classic Doctor Strange.
We need to finish Excalibur and X-Force. Those have to be.
I think I would. The one figure I'd really love to see is a really nice Excalibur Rachel Summers like Phoenix figure, like with the spikes and everything. Why have we never had that figure?
And Shadowcat, kitty version. They have the dragon already. I don't know.
Small version of Lockheed, yeah.
They could do a 3-pack of Megan. They won't because it's 3 ladies, but they could do Megan Rachel Summers Phoenix and Shadowcat. That would be cool.
And Wolverine.
And Wolverine, of course. We need 17 more Wolverines. You beat me to that joke. I was sitting there before we started talking. I was going to be like, of course we need another Wolverine. Or
what's
12.
funny is, there's still more Wolverines that I need.
No, there aren't.
There's more Wolverines that I need.
They've done every Wolverine.
Need more. No, I need a super hairy, like big hair. There's still more Wolverines I need. There are still, like, you could do a great Wolverine blob
I've completely sprained my eyes rolling them so
more
hard.
Wolverine. So that's what we've learned in today's podcast, is that we need more Batman figures, more Wolverine figures, and more Spider-Man. So that was a fun conversation. So what are you
looking for?
To me right now, we've gotten so many amazing things in Marvel Legends and Modern lines and the Origins line and things like that. Like, I'm really excited about that. I'm actually really excited to see if they give us the rest of the characters from The Mandalorian.
They really need to.
And the Carl Weathers and your friend, the girl with the Smithy girl. Like, I really want those.
They'll make her.
But they're also doing the 3 3/4 vintage line of those, and they're making the vehicles for that. I'm like, my friend Brian, the other Brian, was like, what do I need the 3 3/4 Mandalorian? I said, what if they make his ship?
Right.
It's a major component of the show.
It's a cool ship,
if they make his ship, he's like,
that's a good playset type ship. I gotta
buy the 3 3/4 ones. I'm like, yes, you do.
That might be a more affordable way to collect that show.
The size of a dime. Like a dime. Like a tiny little.
No, they'll make him out of scale like Orko from Masters of the Universe. They'll make him like this. They'll have like the 3 3/4, and then he'll be this big.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's
at home. He made a
that's a more affordable way of buying them. I wonder what the exclusive for Comic-Con is going to be. I guarantee it'll be something around the Mandalorian.
It's probably Baby Yoda in his carriage, because we probably won't get that anytime soon. It might be the Mandalorian in his full Beskar armor.
What it is.
That kind of thing. Him in his full armor that he gets.
Yeah,
it's probably that. The only other thing, and it's the last thing I have to say on this podcast, is if we do get those 6-inch G.I. Joes that have been rumored, I can die a happy man. After I get a really great Baroness / Scarlet figure in my hand, you can bury me.
Isn't that not just a rumor now, though? Didn't they reveal it, basically?
I don't think so.
Or was that just people trying to make it fake news?
Pretending a reveal, yeah. It's fake news. So
just wait for the videos of people going, there's a G.I. Joe line coming from Hasbro, and it's been completely that's scary, because that's a new thing. Where you can make somebody look like they're saying something and use their voice and just digitally make it happen. Frightening.
It is frightening. Not as frightening as trying to watch toy videos on YouTube. So I got this squirrel girl, right? But my fingernails, I don't know how to take care of them. But I'm going to make close-ups of my fingernails. I can't take care of my fingernails, and they're gross.
No, they're not.
Here, I'm going to play with my...
About?
This is what videos on YouTube. Here I am.
What are you doing to her?
The figure. And every time I watch a YouTube video of somebody showing me a new figure, they have the grossest nails. I'm like, if you're going to have thousands of people watch your videos, get your nails. Can we get a cuticle trimmer?
Who's good? You know who's really good to watch? Obviously, I like Pixel Dan, but also Toy Bro does really good. Stop it.
Agreed.
Stop it. Toy Bro does really good reviews too, and he has his hands are nice. His hands are nice, and his nails are well groomed and clipped. He's great. I've met him.
Half of the
guy.
video is staring at someone's hands. So take care of your hands. Put some lotion on them sometime. Get a cuticle trimmer.
Well,
you know what I mean?
He does a great job of not making you stare at his hands the whole time. He puts things on a turntable, and he does a voiceover, and so you see it in pose.
Yes, the basic YouTube basics of basicness.
I don't actually think. I think his videos are well done.
I mean,
there's
well done.
Again, simplicity is
a great thing, and I would actually rather just see the figure and things like that. I'm happy with that. You know me. I'm just having fun over here.
I know.
I'm just making fun for fun. I like old Toy Bro, but my favorite still is Shartimus Prime for some reason. I don't know. I've always liked him.
No, homophobic, Sorry.
He is all of those
I'm willing.
things
I'm
and
willing to go to the mat
misogynistic
and
and all
have a
those things.
fight online about it because it'll
and
only
things
get
like
us more
that.
followers.
But,
that was good. We just talked over each other the whole time. I'm willing to. I'm willing to go to the mat with that douche and have a fight online or in person, whatever. Bring it.
He does sometimes represent the part of the collecting community that I'm not a huge fan of.
He said, I don't care what other people think in the privacy of their own home or in the privacy of their own head. Sure. I mean, I care because I feel like people need to just not stress out and start to evolve.
But you can't regulate it.
When you have any sort of platform, if you are so out of touch that you make comments about people because of the way they were born, and I'm sorry, people, but it is the way you're born. And if you think it's a choice, then you fell somewhere in the middle, and you have more options than most. But
hey, good for you.
It's not like someone, it's like going on someone and be like, that red-haired effort, fucker. Like, I mean, like, that's ridiculous notion. It's the same thing. And so to use derogatory language like that, not in a comic way, because it's not funny. It's not even like bad comedy. It's just negative. It's just garbage. That you don't deserve the platform unless you own it and understand why it is bad, and then you
But this is the problem with something like YouTube and the internet and Facebook is that we can have a proliferation, just like us giving our opinion right now. We can have a proliferation of, unfortunately, bad things that people think and say.
I know, but I feel like my opinion is not saying I feel like I'm not saying anything derogatory about somebody because of the way they are innately. I'm not trying to limit somebody's rights. I'm not trying to piss all over their existence.
Unless they make DC toys.
Well, yeah.
Other than that, no.
They don't know how to make a neck in an action figure in 2020. But if you are on there saying negative things and trying to put people down and dominate them, because that's really the root of it. It's human animals trying to dominate each other. If you are trying to dominate somebody because you're not secure enough in who you are, and I'm not saying that he's any sort of gay or whatever he is. I'm saying he's got some issue with it that he uses language like that and isn't thoughtful about why that's a waste of time and a waste of honor. It's dishonorable. And I don't have any patience for it anymore, and I'm never going to be quiet about it anymore. Like, there's no reason to be.
No reason to be.
Punch me in the face. Do it 50 times. I will.
Where we are today.
I will stand up and I will. Yeah. I will. You will lose. You will lose if you keep acting that way. And until people who believe in what I'm saying, who aren't a gay person, start to think that way and act that way too, that type of crap is going to keep going. Oh, yeah. And as nerds, I know it might sound corny, but I look at like Star Trek, which I'm now enjoying again because of the Picard series, and I started watching Discovery, and I've actually been enjoying it. And I think about how society could evolve, and how all the stupid things that we obsess about that are really just ways of us avoiding evolving, intellectually, emotionally, artistically, all those things don't matter. And we should be challenging ourselves and each other to do better and be better. And I don't know why there are so many people in the fan communities that we are in or that we are aware of that don't get that. It shocks me.
But I think that in my everyday life with people that I meet all the time is why do you just not get it? Like, but why do you just not get it?
Yeah.
I think that all the time. No, they choose not
to.
It's
a choice not to get it.
It is, and that's, this is a conversation for another podcast, but the important part of this...
I do think it's related, though.
No, it is very related, and you're right. Every time that somebody like that makes an uncomfortable thing like, look at Squirrel Girl's ass, we're objectifying... Even a piece of plastic, that means we're still objectifying a woman because she's only made up of parts that are interesting to me. And I find that kind of thing abhorrent. When we even do that to our action figures as a joke. But the important part of this is...
Yeah, well, wait, let me just say something about that.
Go ahead.
That... that has to do with like your gut reaction to like being attracted to somebody. There's a part of me that's like, if you're, and there's two ways to say that. Look at her ass. Like, there's a positive part of that. Like, it's okay to enjoy that. It's okay to celebrate somebody for that. But if, like, you can, and I don't think it's bad to say that. It's bad to say it if it's like, if it's meant in a derogatory way.
Right.
And so when guys like that say, like,
that's what drives it. It's the, hey, look at that. You know, it's more the, hey, look at that kind of categories of us. Whoa, look at that ass. Right.
Right. And it's a slight difference.
The connotation is different because I can't say that I don't do that in my own life where I see attractive people, male, female, whoever, and I go, dang, look at that.
Absolutely.
But I'm not like, ooh, look at that. Like I want to slip a dollar bill into her G-string. Right.
I mean, and even if you did, like, as long as she's into that, great. Go at it. Like,
great, sure.
I feel like there are a lot of guys who get real pissed off when people say, like, don't do that. And it's like, I get it, because you probably don't think that you're being offensive, and you're not. There are people, though, who are. And so it's like, it's a lot of critical thinking, and it's difficult to tease that out. But
what I talk to my students about all the time is you have to think about, especially nowadays, because we want to evolve, we need to evolve. You have to think about everything you do in every moment, every day, everything you say that comes out of your mouth, because of, especially somebody like me, a 44-year-old white man. I, in fact, all the time in my class acknowledge my privilege, and I acknowledge my privileged education, and I acknowledge my privilege having grown up in a different era, and different things, and I have to acknowledge those things in order to understand other people and other things. But the most important part of this whole conversation to me, Brian Charles Rooney, is why is Harley Quinn so big? What? So big?
That's a derogatory, sexist comment, and I will have none of that. Good day, sir.
Okay, good. Bye. But what? McFarlane Toys, you've been around for 30 years. How have you not figured this out? But there you go, bud. Hey,
no, that's
I should figure that for you. But
that's a flat ass. Sorry.
His hips are very strange. But well, here, fine. Here's Sly Stallone from Over the Top for you. Okay, how's that?
He never did it for me. Never. No.
With arm wrestling action, bitches. Anyway,
he never did it for me. Not as a hero, not as anything, not as an object, nothing.
Well,
never.
You guys have a lovely time. We will get back to you right after Toy Fair to talk about the toys that are going to drive me crazy and my wallet crazy all year. And I'd also like to, next time, Brian Charles Rooney, really get into a vintage line that we love. So we'll have to talk about that. I don't know what the vintage line is going to be, but we need to talk about it. We need to talk about more
something not obvious.
No. It needs to be like Crystal Warrior or something weird and strange. Or apparently
I know what mine is.
Whatever the heck you're into.
My Pet Monster.
Weird stuff too.
That's but you guys, 7 My Pet Monster is cool.
But you guys have a lovely time. I hope your 2020 is going okay. It's going to be a rough year for everyone in our culture. So enjoy, do the best you can, do right by each other. But mostly, get your action figures together and give them a big hug. And you guys have a great time. See you later, Brian Charles Rooney.
Goodbye. I'm going to go play with my toys.
Goodbye.
And then I'm going to work. Bye.
That.